All right, so now we're going to take a quick look and learn a little bit more about some of our IAM best practices. Let's go ahead and right now we're going to be logged in as the admin user, and we're going to go ahead and check out IAM. So the first rule that we talked about was to create individual IAM users. That means that we're not going to be sharing any accounts, and we're also not going to be using the root account for everything. We've done that in that we are using our admin user for us personally. We've used the non-priv account, the non-priv user for just a few tasks, but we're certainly not using the root account for anything other than really just creating the admin user and then setting up some billing stuff later. Okay, now the next thing we're going to talk about is using groups instead of users to apply permissions. So let's take a look at one of our groups. We can see that the permission that is applied is administrator access, and then we can see how is this getting applied through. You can see this is not getting applied to this individual user, our admin user. It's getting applied via the admin group. So we're doing a good job. We look at our user groups and we go into the admin group, for example, and then we can see the permissions, the administrator access is assigned through the group. We can see that our one user is assigned there. This user is not getting any permissions individually as a user. It's getting assigned via the group. Great. Next, we talk about enabling MFA. So for this course, we're not going to do it just because we are the only users, or we should be the only users in this environment for the course. So it's really easy to control that because we know that we are the only ones that are accessing anything. But when we have a larger environment with production applications or sensitive data or things like that, it becomes much more important to protect that, especially our highly privileged accounts with MFA. And we talked about how to do that with our MFA section. We just go into admin user, and then we can take a look at right here, security credentials, and then we can add MFA just like that, and we can scan the QR code and add those MFA codes. So next we're going to talk a little bit about access keys. We're going to go ahead and scroll in here and see we don't have any access keys that are currently enabled. We have to remember that access keys work just like a username and password to authenticate programmatically. So we have to protect these the same way we would a username and password. Later on in the course, we're going to talk a little bit about AWS Key Management Service, or KMS, and that will help us rotate and manage our keys through AWS. Now we want to remove any unneeded credentials. Right now on this account, we're going to be using the admin user throughout our course. We want to keep it the way that it is, but let's take a look at our other user. When we go to users and then non-priv, we go to security credentials, we can see that there still is an access key from our previous lesson, and we're not going to be using this for the rest of the course. So you can look, we have a few different options here. If we think we might be using it again, but we want to deactivate it temporarily, we would go to deactivate, and then select deactivate, and now we can see the status here is listed as inactive, so we would not be able to authenticate with this. If we wanted to then again reuse it, we can just go here and say activate, and now it's active again. If we wanted to completely remove this, we're not going to use it anymore, so we're not going to. We're going to go to delete. Right now, because of it's active, we have to deactivate it first. And then in order to confirm the delete, we just need to copy and paste this. So copy this up here, paste it down there, and there we go. And now we've removed this because we're not going to use it anymore for the rest of the course. Okay, now it's very important to monitor what's happening in our AWS environment. Like I mentioned, later on in the course, we're going to go into some of the AWS monitoring and security services so we can understand how to look and see what's happening within our AWS environment and automate some responses to certain activities. But for right now, let's go ahead and set a billing alert so that way we make sure that we do not stray outside of the AWS free tier during the course. Let's see how to do that. First, we're going to start by going into the account, and we're going to go to billing dashboard. Now this is where we can go in and see if there's any charges. So we can see that there's no costs for the last few months. We don't have any charges. There's nothing here right now. And we can also set a budget. So if we go into budgets, and then we go to create a budget, here we go. So we scroll down here and we look, we want to use the template. And this template right here is great for us. Create a budget that notifies you once your spending exceeds 1 penny. So if you have any charges for AWS, it's going to notify you. That's really important for this course because as we're experimenting with AWS, keep in mind, you are using an active AWS environment. I can go in, click a few buttons, and provision resources that are going to cost money, even in the free tier. So we have to be really careful with what we're doing. Make sure to follow along with the course. Set up the zero spend budget to an actual email that you're using. So that way that if you make some mistake, you get notified right away and before it runs for an entire month and then racks up this giant bill. So please make sure that you use a zero spend budget and then enter your email address right down here. So that way that we can get notified if there are any issues with the budget. Okay, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and just enter one of my emails in here. kaglumaccp@gmail.com. Great, and now I'm going to go ahead and select Create Budget. Now keep in mind that your first 2 budgets on the AWS free tier don't cost anything, but if you keep on creating more budget alerts, they cost, a little bit for each budget that you set up. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and select once, that way that we make sure that we stay in that AWS free tier. We can also see right here, my zero spend budget, the thresholds are okay. The budget is $1, amount used is 0. So you can see that this is ready to go. All right, now the very last thing we wanted to do in this lesson was to set a strong password policy. Now to do that, we're going to go ahead and go back into IAM and go here. And we go in here to account settings. And now we can see right at the top here is the password policy. So you can see currently we have the AWS account uses the following default password policy, minimum character, the different password strength that we need to use. Other requirements is that they never expire and they must not be identical to the username or the account name or email address. So let's go ahead and edit these. So this is the IAM default, but we can go ahead and select custom. Let's see what we can do for custom. So we can set a minimum password length. We can check any of these or uncheck any of these as far as password strength. We could turn on password expiration. So if we click on that, expire passwords, and you can choose anything between 1 and almost 1100 days right there. Then we have other options in here as far as password expiration requires administrator reset and allow users to change their own password and also prevent password reuse. So we can set whatever makes the most sense for our environment and for our organization. This wraps up the IAM best practices demo. Now let's move on to the IAM section review.